Absolutely beautiful day here in Baltimore. Temperature 78 degrees. The forecast calls for sunny skies the rest of the afternoon. Baltimore has won the toss. They have deferred. So the Ravens will kick it off with Steve Hauschka. Hauschka had a cup of coffee with the Ravens last year as a kickoff specialist. Now he's the full-time kicker. Jamal Charles is the return man. He's got big-time speed in his second year from Texas. Ian Eagle, Rich Gannon, the rest of our CBS crew, we are ready for action. NFL kickoff weekend. Ravens last year 11-5. The Chiefs 2-14, a franchise worst 2008. Hauschka, we're underway in Baltimore. Charles, the return man from the 2. Looking for a running lane, and Charles will get out across the 25-yard line. That's where Kansas City will open up after the 24-yard return. Brodie Croyle, last year, injury trouble. Yet again, left ACL injury. He's had an injury-play career now in his 4th year out of Alabama. Rich, as you mentioned, this is not an easy way to open up a season for any quarterback, let alone one that's just getting used to a new offense.
And this is probably the most difficult assignment, opening up on the road against the Ravens defense. Expect pressure early.
And Kansas City in its base offense, although they have 3 in the backfield to open up. We'll see multiple looks from this Chiefs offense here today. On a give to Johnson up the middle, and Larry Johnson carries to the 30-yard line for a 5-yard pickup. Ryan is the tight end. Matt Castle watching from the sidelines. A helpless position for the $60 million man. On a pitch, Johnson hit behind the line of scrimmage by Ray Lewis. The future Hall of Famer, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. It's a loss of 4. No huddle, tipped up in the air and incomplete. Terrell Suggs over there defensively for Baltimore, and Kansas City goes 3 and out, trying to deal with this suffocating Baltimore defense.
Again, pressure. You see Terrell Suggs there. They get some push on the pocket. He gets his hands up, and I'm telling you, you're going to see a lot of that today. They're going to get 4, 5, 6-man fronts and really try and collapse the pocket on Brodie Croyle.
Dustin Colquitt, his career has averaged just under 44 yards per punt. The speedster Chris Carr returning from the 30. And Carr trying to turn the corner as a flag comes down. Ricardo Copley able to get down the field in a hurry for Kansas City on special teams. 43-yard punt, a 3-yard return. Gene Steratore is our referee here today.
During the return, holding number 24 of the return team, 10-yard penalty, first down Baltimore.
So the Ravens pick up the penalty to open up. And our first look here in 2009 of Joe Flacco. Better numbers on the road last season than at home. That's not something you normally see, especially from a rookie quarterback. Ray Rice now is the featured back for this Baltimore offense. Fake the handoff. Flacco looks. Look at the time Flacco has. And gets to the perimeter, ducks out of bounds. Didn't see anything he liked down the field. It's McGahee who is now backing up Rice, although Harbaugh told us that McGahee will see plenty of time here. Flacco looking to throw. Pocket holds up and fires a bullet out across the 40-yard line. He makes the connection to old reliable Derek Mason. He retired briefly. A 19-yard pickup through the air for the Ravens.
You know, it's interesting to see how they started with 2 straight passes. They're trying to be more aggressive and less predictable than a year ago. A high percentage of run on the early downs. They're trying to change that up this preseason.
Mason last year, 80 catches, over 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns. By far the most consistent player they have through the air in Baltimore. Flacco, pump fake. Looks deep. High throw is hauled in. Kelly Washington, a 22-yard hookup. The former Bengal and Patriot getting in on the act early.
Well, if the Chiefs can't put pressure on Joe Flacco, it is going to be a long day. He's got plenty of time. He's a big quarterback. The other thing is they were disappointing last year, this Chiefs defense. They lack putting pressure on the quarterback. Just 10 sacks, the worst in the National Football League.
Ranked 31st in the NFL in total defense in 2008. So Baltimore on the move, quickly into Kansas City territory at the 35. Play fake again. Flacco looking for the deep ball. Mason's got it, but it's incomplete. Could not stay in bounds. A combination of Leggett and Page there defensively for Kansas City.
You know, it's interesting. They're going after these safeties in the middle of the field. You see Mason right there working on the corner. He beats the safety as well over the top. A perfect throw in the back of the end zone by Joe Flacco, and Derek Mason just can't pull it in. But a good shot. They're being aggressive early, and I like that with this Ravens offense.
Well, Harbaugh and Flacco this weekend told us that they have to do a better job using the middle of the field. Felt like they relied too much on the perimeter last year in the passing game. All 4 plays have been through the air so far. Play clock was winding down. And another look at Mason back of the end zone. Rich, clearly there was a juggle here.
Yeah, and just ran out of room. Really pretty good coverage right there at the end. Leggett trying to get the hand up, but Derek Mason trying to concentrate. He winds up pulling it in, but he can't get both feet in bounds.
So after the timeout, Baltimore on second down. Flacco, strong throw to the outside. Mark Clayton able to turn it upfield. And another first down for the Ravens, working against Maurice Leggett. Brandon Flowers sitting this one out because of a shoulder injury. Talented second-year player out of Virginia Tech. And Leggett is going to get everything he can handle out there today.
And that's Cam Cameron right there. You got an injury in your secondary at the corner position. Brandon Flowers out, Leggett in. They're going to challenge him early, and they've done that so far the first quarter.
This Baltimore offense was so improved last year with Cam Cameron calling the shots offensively. And a lot of trust from the head coach, John Harbaugh. New set of downs for Baltimore. Still haven't run the football. Flacco, play fake. And a throw out to the sideline. Mason was out of bounds. Brandon Carr, another second-year corner out of Grand Valley State, a Division II product there with the coverage.
And this is a very good offensive line. They've gotten better at pass protection. You see all the time there that Joe Flacco has. And again, not enough room on the boundary for Derek Mason. They're just missing a couple throws a little late with his timing and rhythm.
11:08 to go in this first quarter, 7th play of the drive. It's one rush officially for Baltimore, but it was a passing play. Flacco was forced to throw because he didn't have anybody open downfield. Inside the 25, here's a running play, and it's Ray Rice, who is buried behind the line of scrimmage. Demario Williams among those there defensively. Glenn Dorsey getting a little bit of pressure there for Kansas City.
And I'll tell you what, they need both of those big players down inside, Glenn Dorsey and Tyson Jackson, former first-round picks, to dominate. They need to contribute. That was one of the negatives. Their motors run hot and cold. They can't take plays off against a physical offensive line like the Ravens.
So call it a 3rd and 12 now. This Baltimore drive stalling a bit. Kelly Washington in as a third receiver with Mason and Clayton. Flacco will operate out of the gun. Rice single setback. Here comes the rush. Flacco gets rid of it, and it's incomplete. Ray Rice, the intended receiver. Derek Johnson among those applying pressure for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Baltimore will attempt a field goal.
And you're going to see it coming from the top of your screen. They have a hot throw there, and it's a good job on the back end covering. Nice job by the Chiefs getting off the field and forcing them for 3.
So one of the areas where Baltimore has made a change, it's right here, the kicker, Steve Hauschka, in his second year out of North Carolina State, replacing the veteran Matt Stover. 44-yard field goal, and he curls it through. Jamal Charles, the return man for Kansas City, and again, the ball has come off the tee. How about Baltimore's offense on that first possession? Did you like what you saw?
I was a little surprised. I really felt like it'd come out there and try and run the ball and dominate them physically, but they had plenty of time to throw the ball because that's a very physical group up front. Kansas City's got to find a way to generate some pass rush.
And the kickoff from Hauschka, returnable for Charles from the goal line. And Charles trying to bust it to the clear. And the pursuit came from the backside of the 25-yard line. Well, Croyle's going to operate out of the shotgun with an empty backfield. On first down from the 25. Quick throw, and getting just past the line of scrimmage is Jamal Charles for a gain of 1. Terrell Suggs over there to make the play. How about the responsibility, added responsibility of Todd Haley Chan Gailey let go as offensive coordinator last week.
Well, the safest thing would have been to keep Chan Gailey, but as time went on, it was clear to Todd Haley that he needed to make a change. I know the direction that he wanted to go. I think it was a smart move, but it certainly adds more responsibility to his job each and every week.
Terrell Suggs just went to the sideline for Baltimore. Larry Johnson now in there for Kansas City. Croyle on a pump, and he's sacked. Got pushed down by the versatile Jared Johnson. Gritty seventh-year pro out of Alabama.
And Jared Johnson gives you so much flexibility. This is going to be a handful. This is going to be a great battle to watch. You watch the left side of your screen. He just beats Brandon Albert, the left tackle, right off the ball. And as I said before, you can't hold the football against this defense. It's got to come out.
It feels like there's 13 players on defense right now for Baltimore.
There's so much speed. They play with such quickness. They understand concepts. They do have a lot of speed.
Second charge timeout, Baltimore.
And the Chiefs facing a 3rd and 15 at the 20-yard line. A 3-receiver set. Charles by himself in the backfield for KC.
They'll delay a game.
And Croyle
First charge timeout.
just got it in.
City will be a 30-second timeout. A 30-second timeout.
Rich, how does that happen coming off a timeout?
Well, I think what happened there, you're thinking screen or draw on 3rd and long. I know Todd Haley wants to protect the quarterback, but then the defense doesn't even give you that opportunity. They crowd so many people up at the line of scrimmage, even in 3rd and long situations, force you to throw the ball and then peel back out. So they give you a lot of different looks defensively.
You know, it's interesting. When we talked to Haley yesterday, we asked him about Croyle because we didn't know about the Castle situation. How is Croyle doing in this offense? And Haley looked at us and said, look, I call the play, and I can see him processing it. It's not automatic for him right now.
No, you get a lot of changes the last couple of weeks, protections, verbiage, concepts, a lot of new learning going on, so they scaled things back, and it's taken a while for Brodie Croyle.
Baltimore crowds the line. On a 3rd and 15 out of the gun. Croyle steps, he throws, almost picked off. Mark Bradley matched up with Fabian Washington for Baltimore, and Kansas City is forced to punt.
And they're excited about these two corners in Baltimore, Fabian Washington and Dominique Foxworth. They play the run very well. They're physical. You have to do that here, but they have good speed on the back end, and they drive on underneath throws.
Well, so far so good for Greg Madison, the new defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. Dustin Colquitt will punt it. Chris Carr, the former Oakland Raider and Tennessee Titan, standing at his own 33-yard line. Colquitt gets a hold of this one. Backpedaling Carr from the 24. And he is buried just short of the 30-yard line. Back in Baltimore, Ravens take over with a 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. 8:48 to go in this first quarter. And Baltimore with a 3-0 lead over Kansas City. Fake the handoff. Flacco again has plenty of time. Set up the screen for McClain. And a flag comes down as McClain rumbles out near the 45-yard line. This one could be coming back. Mark Clayton might have been caught on a hold out near the sideline. 15 yards through the air, but the Ravens know that it will be against them.
Holding, offense, number 85, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
Now they got the blockers out there, but it cost them.
They spent a lot of time this offseason working on their screen game. The backs have come a long way as it relates to catching the ball. You see Cam Cameron right there, the offensive coordinator. He loves to call screens on the early down, get these backs like Ray Rice out in space and let them go to work.
And that has been a big focus for this year when we spoke with Joe Flacco. Getting the running backs more involved in the passing game, becoming a better screen team. Something that Harbaugh talked about, something that Flacco talked about. Here's Flacco to throw. Oh, fires a perfect strike to Derek Mason. So a first down for the Ravens out across the 40-yard line. Rice and McClain in the backfield. They'll give it to Ray Rice. Trying to squeeze through an opening. Not a whole lot there, but he gains 4.5, 5 yards.
This guy is a phenomenal player. I think he's got a very bright future in this league. You see him changing the play at the line of scrimmage.
And we'll call it a 2nd and 5 here for Baltimore. Check off into a running play. And Ray Rice takes it out to midfield, short of a first down. One number that I couldn't believe as I was doing my research, Rich, The Baltimore Ravens have not had a quarterback throw for 20 or more touchdowns in a season since 1996. Vinny Testaverde. 13 years now.
Well, for years, the quarterback situation in Baltimore was always cause for concern. That's no longer the case. They go out and get Joe Flacco. I think he brings you production. I think he brings you consistency.
Well, Cam Cameron has now sent Troy Smith onto the field. And he sets up as a wideout off to the right. Flacco working out of the gun on a 3rd and 2. Play clock was winding down. Flacco throwing. Wide open Washington. And first down Baltimore into Kansas City territory. So they spread it out and they convert it into a first down.
Boy, they really like Kelly Washington. He's had a great preseason, and he's great at working the middle of the field. He's a big target for Joe Flacco, and he's willing to go in there and do the dirty stuff across the middle.
Now, Baltimore didn't go out to get a big-name wide receiver during the offseason. A lot of people around the NFL thought that would be their focus. It wasn't. They signed Kelly Washington. They hope Mark Clayton continues to develop. And obviously, they're looking for a bounce-back year from Todd Heap. On first down, Ray Rice. Rice trying to shed tacklers. He's tough to bring down. Built low to the ground. 5'8", 215 pounds. He gained 5 pounds of muscle. And a 6-yard gain for the all-time leading rusher in Rutgers football history.
Well, all that extra time in the weight room this offseason has paid dividends for him. He's their most versatile back. He's a patient runner. I think he runs with great balance and vision, and he is a workhorse.
And he said his preparation was different leading up to the combine compared to this, his second year in the NFL. We'll get into that as this game progresses. Flacco, look at the time. Flacco out of the pocket, and he's got a first down. Joe Flacco could balance his checkbook back there. 6-yard gain.
You know, we don't think of Joe Flacco as a very mobile quarterback, but he can pull it down and run. Look at all the time he has in terms of the protection. Good decision. He knows where those first down sticks are. Good alert play by Joe Flacco.
Kansas City providing very little pressure as Willis McGahee now checks in for Baltimore. 109 yards for the Ravens. Kansas City -4 so far in the first quarter. 8th play of the drive. Play fake. Flacco deep drop. Set up the screen. And McClain trying to stay upright. Had a lot of players bunched together. Give him a 2.5, 3-yard gain depending on the spot for Baltimore.
And the great thing about the screen game is they have big offensive linemen that are athletic, that can get out in front of the screen, run and cut. You look at Jared Gaither there, Ben Grubbs. It's a very strong but very athletic offensive line.
And LaRon McClain went to the Pro Bowl last year as a fullback. He brings that physicality, multi-purpose. A lot of versatility on this roster. Empty backfield. Flacco popped up in the air and almost caught. It was tipped. McGahee was the intended receiver. Mason was in the area as well. And it's incomplete, 3rd and 8.
And you see they're trying to work the middle of the field here. You see this is where all the openings are, and you see just misses it on the back end. You cannot miss, particularly running backs and tight ends on the back shoulder. They won't catch those balls. Receivers are more apt to do that. You see right there, Derek Mason almost got a freebie over the top.
So 3rd and long now for Baltimore.
A lot of empty backfield sets for the Ravens.
We approach 4 minutes to play in this first quarter. Flacco, shotgun, timing pattern to Heap over the middle, and the fans react. It's a first down for the Ravens inside the 10. Corey Mays, the linebacker, brings them down. 14-yard pickup.
And here's another guy that's had a tremendous preseason, Todd Heap. He was lost a year ago, but you see this is something that he can really do. There's a mismatch right there on the linebacker and safeties. Todd Heap just too athletic, too quick to cover in space.
Went to the Pro Bowl in 2002 and 2003. Now a 9-year veteran in the NFL. It's hard to believe. Joe Flacco, 8 of 12, 103 yards, a 1st and goal inside the 10 for Baltimore. They've got a 3-0 lead. Handoff, Ray Rice. And Rice will take it to the 5-yard line. Tank Tyler combining with Corey Mays to bring down the diminutive Ray Rice.
And I'll tell you, he's not the biggest back, but he gets lost behind that big offensive line, and he is very deliberate. He picks a hole, and he hits it north and south.
This Baltimore team led the AFC in rushing last year, though McClain got most of the carries around the goal line.
And all this no huddle makes it very difficult for the Chiefs to substitute and dial up blitzes.
Handoff, Rice. And he slipped out. Ray Rice could not keep his footing inside the 5. It'll be 3rd and goal.
And I think Ray Rice needs to change shoes. He has slipped a couple times now trying to wind back, cut back some of these runs. Either he's got too much tape, he's spat it up, or he has the wrong shoe on.
So, Haloti Ngata has checked in this jumbo formation along with Marshall Yanda. Fake the handoff. Flacco looking to throw. Flacco out of the pocket. Still alive.
Throw it away.
Flacco! Wow. Touchdown! Willis McGahee! Joe Flacco kept the play going.
Well, they bring in all those extra big people. You saw that Haloti Ngata came in, Marshall Yanda, and they decide to throw it. Two things happen here. Great protection, and then watch Joe Flacco's movement and mobility, his ability to be able to extend the play with his legs. Great job. Good alert play by Joe Flacco.
One thing we learned about Joe Flacco last year, among a bunch of other things, he doesn't get rattled. Everybody was curious as to what Willis McGahee's role would be with this Baltimore team. He has accepted the fact that Ray Rice is the starter. McGahee gets in on the act, though, as Flacco finds him off the scramble for a touchdown, and Baltimore is added to its lead. It's 10-0 Ravens, who've got just over 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. Steve Hauschka will kick it off. Quentin Lawrence is the deep man for Kansas City. He's a rookie out of McNeese State, a 6th-round pick. And again, the ball has come off the tee for a 3rd time for Baltimore.
I think Hauschka needs some glue.
Now, Steve Hauschka, kickoff specialist last year, was a practice squad member and then got activated in October of last year. And look, John Harbaugh knew he was taking a chance. Matt Stover has been so rock solid. He was the last remaining link from the Cleveland Browns when they moved from Cleveland to Baltimore, and Harbaugh believes that Hauschka will be able to get the job done.
And he's replacing a leading scorer from a year ago, a top 5 all-time scorer in the National Football League, and Matt Stover. They need consistency on those field goals.
So Jerry Rossberg, the special teams coordinator, looking on as Hauschka gets a little help. And Lawrence will take it out a yard deep in the end zone. And Lawrence gets hit from behind. Brendan Ayanbadejo, a Pro Bowl special teams performer.
Look at that production, -4 yards, 2 punts.
Or
not the way you want to start.
No production for Kansas City offensively. Larry Johnson in the backfield, he trips. And the Chiefs cannot do anything on offense. It's a loss of 1. Johnson is the last man to go over 100 yards against this Baltimore defense. And trust me, the defensive players for the Ravens know that.
Yeah, they're going to be physical with him. They don't want to get him started. The thing with Larry Johnson is if you can discourage him early, he has a tendency to get frustrated. And that's why you're going to see Ray Lewis and the boys jawing with him after a lot of these runs.
It was December the 10th of 2006. Johnson went for 120 yards on 23 carries. They've not allowed a running back to gain over 100 since that game. 35 games. Croyle pumping and throws to Johnson. Fair point. Shotgun. Croyle throws. He's got time, and he's got Mark Bradley. Looked like he went out of bounds just before the marker. Dominique Foxworth, the Randallstown, Maryland native who grew up 15 minutes from here, over there defensively, formerly with Denver and Atlanta, signed a 4-year, $27 million free agent contract with the Ravens. So it is very close.
All right, I think you're going to find out a little bit about Brodie Croyle today, his toughness and his ability to overcome adversity. I just think He's not surrounded by a lot of talent right now. You see Mark Bradley on the crossing route. Now you got to get your depth. You got to get your depth on the route so that you don't have these close calls and come up a couple inches short.
And Rich, they can't go for it. They're not in a position to go for it. They can't take the field and guarantee that they can get a half a yard against this Baltimore defense.
I really believe in order for this team to have a chance today, they're going to need a lot of help from their defense. A turnover, a score, be able to create some short fields for this offense, as well as maybe a big play or two in the kicking game. They need help. They're not going to be able to get it done offensively with that personnel right now.
Dustin Colquitt to punt, and the exciting Ed Reed is deep. 5-time Pro Bowler, one of the best to ever play safety in NFL history. He's got 43 career interceptions.
As a quarterback, you have to find him each and every snap on the field. He will hurt you.
Colquitt. Sailing kick. It sends Reed back to the 13-yard line and returnable. Flags are down as Reed gets hit out across the 20-yard line. Jackie Battle getting down the field to make the play. 60-yard punt for Colquitt.
We're going to get Fabian Washington right here.
Gene Steratore.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 31 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Baltimore.
And as you mentioned, Rich, it is Fabian Washington. Well, here's an opportunity for the Kansas City defense. As you just mentioned, if they have any chance in this game, it's going to have to come on this side of the ball, making some plays and keeping it close. Handoff, and McGahee will be thrown down. Mike Brown came over as a free agent from the Chicago Bears, Pro Bowler back in 2005. He's been a proven playmaker over the course of now a 10-year NFL career.
Well, they want to break some tendencies, and I went back and studied this football team. They called more runs last year than anybody, and they called more on first down as well. So you can see they're trying to break that tendency by throwing the ball on the early downs.
And that'll be the final play of this first quarter. 6 offensive linemen for Baltimore as we start play in the second quarter. 2nd and 9. Ravens lead 10-0. Flacco has all kinds of time. Home run ball. Clayton downfield. And it's broken up. Maurice Leggett, one-on-one, a Division II product from Valdosta State, sticking with Clayton, the 5th-year wideout from Oklahoma.
Boy, they're testing Maurice Leggett. This one just gets away from Joe Flacco. You see right here, their speed guy, Mark Clayton, matched up one-on-one, and this ball just hangs up there way too long for Joe Flacco. But you see he's taking extra hitches. He's got plenty of time, and that, again, was a problem last year. Their inability to put pressure on the quarterback, still an issue for the Chiefs.
And now a 3rd and 9 for Baltimore. Flacco shotgun, steps up. Flacco's got some room. Flag is down. Flacco scrambling. And Joe Flacco able to take it to the 20-yard line. Derek Johnson among those there chasing him. A 12-yard pickup, but boy, it's got the look of a play that's coming back.
Holding. Offense, number 71. Penalty occurred at the 1-yard line. The penalty is half the distance to the goal.
Boy, that's close.
Replay, second down.
That was in the end zone. It would have been a safety. You look at Jared Gaither. He's your left tackle. You see him right there, top of your screen, going up against, right there. He just grabs. That's Tamba Hali. He just grabs and holds. And lucky that Joe Flacco stepped up in the pocket. As you know, Ian, if he did that in the end zone, it would have resulted in a safety for the Chiefs.
So Baltimore avoids putting points on the board for Kansas City. Jared Gaither, a massive human being at 6'9", 340 pounds. Now in his 3rd year for Maryland. Got a lot of upside and had a tough job replacing a Hall of Famer, Jonathan Ogden, on that left side of the line.
Well, you're right. They found a long-term replacement with this guy. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic, and the thing I like about him, he will compete. But he's got his hands full today. That's going to be a good matchup to watch. Him against Tamba Hali, the former first-round pick of the Chiefs.
And Hali now playing a different position, outside linebacker. Flacco now on 3rd down, out of the end zone. Nobody home.
It should be grounding. That should be an intentional. There it is. In the end zone. Safety. Boy, you thought they got away with the play before right there. Joe Flacco just panics and throws that ball away in the end zone, and there was no Raven receiver in the area.
Tank Tyler with the pressure. It's going to turn into 2 points for the Chiefs.
I said they have to do something defensively, have to score some points defensively.
Intentional grounding, offense, number 5. Illegal contact, defense,
oh, you're
number
kidding.
26.
Wow.
Those penalties offset.
What a break for the Ravens.
So the Kansas City Chiefs did everything right on this play and come up with a penalty on defense.
Yeah, he just panics right there. He throws it to his right. You're going to see pretty good protection again right there at the end. Todd Heap lets his guy scream through, and Joe Flacco just throws it to the right flat. Or they get a break that there's a penalty on the back end for the Chiefs.
The way this game is going, that might have been the only way Kansas City could score.
I think you're right. They're going to struggle against this defense all day.
Flacco, they'll go conservative. Clayton looking for blockers. And able to accelerate to the 15-yard line. Not enough for the first down. Mike Brown combining with Coakley to bring down Clayton. 11-yard pickup. And Baltimore is more than comfortable going out and punting after really walking a tightrope on back-to-back plays.
You know, it was interesting. We talked with Mike Vrabel last night, the linebacker of the Chiefs. He said the key today is going to be who can hit the hardest the longest. And I think it's going to be a physical confrontation. You have to be willing to stand up to this Baltimore football team.
Well, it should be good field position for Kansas City offensively. Maurice Leggett, the return man, standing at his own 38. Off the punt from Sam Cook. And Leggett couldn't handle it. Loose football. And Leggett comes out of the pack with it. So they avoid complete disaster. The Ravens leading the Chiefs 10-0 early stages second quarter. Kansas City takes over at the 29-yard line, a double tight end set. Handoff to Larry Johnson. Takes it up the middle and picks up 2.5, 3 yards.
They have to have success on the early downs against this defense. You can't afford to get behind in the down and distance against the Ravens.
And Rich, a change at quarterback. Tyler Thigpen is now in. Last year, a starter for 11 games. He went 1-10, and he can run with the football. Thigpen. And carries just short of the 35-yard line. Ian Videjo over there to make the play, and a 2-yard pickup for the Chiefs, and Thigpen's going to stay in the game.
Well, the thing you know about Todd Haley, he doesn't have a lot of patience. If he doesn't see production, he has no problem making a change early in the football game.
So Tyler Thigpen, mobile, excellent running quarterback in his third year from Coastal Carolina. Jamal Charles wrestled down. And despite the quarterback change, Kansas City cannot muster its first down of the day. Chris Carr making the play defensively. The Kansas City Chiefs have 10 total yards of offense.
And I really said the key today was to protect the quarterback if you're the Chiefs, and to be able to run the ball with some success with Larry Johnson. It's the only chance you have against this Ravens defense.
And they have been reduced to running a quarterback draw out of a shotgun formation offensively. The punt from Colquitt. Chris Carr. Fair catch. Ian Eagle, Rich Gannon, the rest of our CBS crew. We've got 11:29 to go in this second quarter. And the Ravens with a 10-0 lead on Kansas City. Week 1 of the 2009 NFL season. Ravens take over. Handoff to Ray Rice. He is yet to break out to the clear today. Tyson Jackson, the rookie number 3 pick overall out of LSU. Speed rusher on the end, making that stop for Kansas City. It's a 5-yard gain for Rice.
Well, this no huddle, this up-tempo approach, it makes it very difficult for Clancy Pendergrass, the defensive coordinator in Kansas City, to make substitutions as well as to dial up all those blitzes.
Call it a 2nd and 5 for Baltimore. Crowd is now subdued. They were charged up in this first quarter. Flacco throwing, sideline route, incomplete. Looking for Derek Mason, and Brandon Carr with the coverage for the Chiefs. I know you were impressed in preparing for the game, even more impressed after watching them so far in this first half.
I really am. I think they've helped themselves. Certainly the addition of Matt Burke at center has been huge. He's a great addition, a calming influence with that young offensive line and quarterback. He's a great communicator.
Troy Smith set up as a receiver. Throw is to Ray Rice underneath. And they pick up a yard on the play. So the Kansas City defense in this first half can't blame them. Yes, it was a long drive for Baltimore to get that touchdown, but the Chiefs defense under Clancy Pendergast, formerly of the Arizona Cardinals, has done its job in this first half.
They've been impressive. They've held on. They haven't backed down. They're competing on the back end. They're getting some pressure on Joe Flacco. I like what I've seen so far from this Chiefs defense. Maurice
Leggett waiting. Sam Cook hit a boomer his last attempt. Now in his 4th year from Nebraska. Walked on. Oh! And blocked! Kansas City! John McGraw over there. Do the Chiefs have it? That's the question.
They do. Hey, what did I say? They have to score in the kicking game. That's huge. A big block up the middle. Wow, that was big.
So Kansas City gets on the board via special teams.
Boy, John McGraw. They didn't even account for him in the protection scheme. And you saw Sam Cook, he had no chance to get that off.
McGraw with the block and the touchdown.
And I'll tell you, when you're behind in a game like this on the road against a good football team and your offense is struggling, you need help. The defense came up with a big stop, and the special teams, a big, big play.
And their rookie kicker, Ryan Suckup from South Carolina, on for the extra point. Wow. 42-year-old Todd Haley, the 11th head coach in Kansas City Chiefs history, his 15th year in the NFL, formerly with the Jets, Chicago, Dallas, and Arizona. His team just came up with a big special teams play to put points on the board. 10-7, Baltimore leading the Chiefs. Ryan Suckup with the kick, deep kick. Chris Carr is going to take it out of the end zone for the Ravens. Here's Carr looking to circle and goes airborne shy of the 20-yard line. DeJuan Morgan there on special teams. John McGraw, first career touchdown. McGraw formerly with the New York Jets and Detroit Lions. Herman Edwards brought him over when he got the head job with Kansas City, one of his favorites back in his New York days. So let's see how the Ravens offense responds here. Little flip for Rice. They're trying to get Ray Rice out into space as Tamba Hali kept giving chase, and very close to a first down for Baltimore.
And that's what you want to find out. If Tamba Hali, who's making the transition from a defensive end to an outside linebacker, how is he in space? Can he cover and match up with a player like Ray Rice? I think the answer is no. He's still going to be a dominant pass rusher for the Chiefs.
Now Hali, the Penn State product, he actually had 18 quarterback hurries in 2008. He just didn't translate them into sacks. You mentioned it earlier. The entire team had just 10 sacks, lowest total ever in a 16-game season. And off to Rice, and he accelerates. Ray Rice met by Demario Williams. It's a 4-yard gain for Rice and the Ravens. 2nd and 6 here for the Ravens. Rice stays in the game. Flacco to throw. Finally some pressure. Flacco avoids it. And Joe Flacco takes a shot along the sideline. Fans wanted a flag, but that looked clean from Mike Vrabel, the 13-year veteran who came over in a trade with New England.
Boy, that was a good addition for the Chiefs. Just watch this. You see Vrabel drop again. Flacco having to move around a lot. And here's where you have to be smart. You can't take these unnecessary hits on the boundary from a guy like Mike Vrabel. He'll knock you out. That just comes with experience at playing the position. Just listen to this violent collision on the boundary.
You ever get hit by Vrabel?
I have, and it's not a pleasant thing. This guy is a great player. He's a coach out on the field. He's really helped this young defense.
And flags come down.
Delay of game, offense number 5, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And now it's the Baltimore offense that's trying to rediscover their first quarter rhythm.
Yeah, you know, they came out throwing the ball so much. I really think that the key to their success a year ago, Ian, you and I have talked about this, is their ability to run the ball. I want to see more of that. I want to see more of LaRon McClain, Ray Rice, and Willis McGahee. I think you have to turn this into a physical match.
5th penalty. It's cost Baltimore 37 yards. Kansas City has not had a penalty against them. Flacco throwing on time to Todd Heap. And a first down out across the 45-yard line. 17-yard pass and catch to the tight end.
Well, it's just a good job right here by Todd Heap. They love to work the middle of the field. You're just going to see them hook it up. Protection takes great care of it. And look at the middle of the field just vacate a wide open area for Todd Heap.
So Todd Heap has always been a terrific red zone option for Baltimore, but the disappointing numbers in 2008, and Harbaugh looked at us and said, I didn't know what I was looking at out there. I'd heard all these great things about Heap. I wasn't seeing it. I'm starting to see it now through training camp and preseason. Flacco, low throw, handled by McGahee. And McGahee keeps the legs churning into Kansas City territory. It's a 5-yard pickup. Corey Mays among those Chiefs defenders over to make the play.
And here's a guy who's had a good preseason, Willis McGahee. He's had the best training camp he's ever had. He's in great shape. You talk about Todd Heap, Willis McGahee. The thing about John Harbaugh, he's going to create competition at every position. They brought in L.J. Smith to push Todd Heap. And, of course, you know they have Ray Rice and LaRon McClain. You have to fight for carries in this offense.
Down to 6.5 remaining in this second quarter. Now Baltimore is on the move. Play action. Flacco firing to Mark Clayton. And another Baltimore first down. They're throwing at Maurice Leggett, who has stepped in for the injured Brandon Flowers.
Boy, he's not getting a chance to catch his breath, is he? I mean, every time he turns around, there's a ball coming in his direction. They're continuing to challenge him. They're going to have to start rolling coverage to give him some help on that corner.
And McGahee just came off the field for Baltimore. Ray Rice is back on. 11 first downs for the Ravens. Kansas City is yet to register a first down here in the first half. Flacco to throw. Flacco pressure and loses the football. Holly.
And that's the matchup we talked about earlier. Jared Gaither really struggling with Tamba Hali. He's made the transition. Look at him get upfield. He's great movement there. He gets the edge, and he gets a good strip on Joe Flacco.
And the Ravens do recover the speed of Hali. First-round pick in 2006, a high energy, brings a lot of intensity to the field.
He seems to be a better pass rusher from an upright position than he was with his hand on the ground.
And he looks leaner, no?
Yes, he is. This defense has had a great training camp, very physical. They're in great shape.
Shotgun on a 2nd and long. Flacco knocked up in the air, and fortunate that it wasn't intercepted. Ray Rice, all 5'8" of him. He got his hands on it.
Boy, this was a bit of a force. You're going to see right here. You're going to see Corey Mays. You're going to see Mike Vrabel. He's really, and again, Mike Brown drive on that. He's really trying to stick that one into a tight spot to his running back, Ray Rice.
How about collectively, this Kansas City team has lost a lot of weight under Todd Haley.
Yeah, over 800 pounds as a team this offseason. They wanted to be a quicker, more athletic team. They lost too many games in the fourth quarter a year ago.
2-14 in 2008. Flacco has got the big arm and got his man, Clayton, against Leggett. First down, Baltimore.
And again, you just know with a guy like Cam Cameron, the offensive coordinator for the Ravens, he's going to continue to challenge you. Great throw by Joe Flacco. Great anticipation and rhythm in the passing game, finding Clayton on that sideline.
And Flacco is putting up big numbers, and Cam Cameron is dialing up a lot of passes. 16 of 23, 174 yards and a touchdown for Flacco in the first half. Under 5 minutes to play now, first half. Flacco checking off at the line of scrimmage to a running play. Ray Rice looking for a lane and able to hurdle his way for a positive gain. LaRon McClain with a good block. 6-yard pickup for Rice.
Boy, Cam Cameron has done a great job in the development of Joe Flacco. He's a great play caller. The thing that I like about him, they're starting to play offense here like they play defense. They're going to knock you out. That's why they acquired players like Grubbs and Matt Burke and the first-round pick Michael Orr. He's got a chance to be a great player. They think he's better than they originally thought when they got him out of Mississippi.
11th play of the drive. Flacco to throw it. Flacco puts it in the air. He's got Heap, who drops the football. Jared Page with the smack on the tight end Todd Heap, who couldn't hold on.
Boy, that was a good shot by Jared Page, and he is a thumper on the back end of that secondary in Kansas City. This one gets a little high on Joe Flacco. You see Jared Page is right there to make the hit. He's been battling for his job as well. John McGraw was a guy that they went back and forth during training camp. that depth chart in Kansas City didn't change each week, it didn't change each day, but it changed practice to practice.
Yeah, it seems to be a very fluid situation right now for the Chiefs, their whole roster. Flacco, tip ball, and incomplete. So on a 3rd and 4, the Kansas City defense makes the play. Corey Mays over there. And Baltimore will have to settle for a field goal attempt, looking to extend its lead.
You know, I get the sense that Baltimore thought this was going to be an easier day, you know, and I think they found out that they're in a fist fight here with Kansas City. You just know that Todd Haley is going to bring this group in here, and they are going to compete hard for 60 minutes. They are in a tight game right now.
And here is Steve Hauschka, spent 3 years at Division III Middlebury College on their football team. 41-yard attempt, no good. Ravens have nothing to show for this drive. Baltimore Ravens in a tighter one than they may have expected. 10-7 here in the second quarter, 3:49 to play. Ultimately, Rich, what is Todd Haley looking to do offensively with this Kansas City team?
They have to find a way to get something going. 12 plays, just 10 yards of offense. Larry Johnson, start handing him the rock.
Brody Croyle is back in. Tyler Thigpen was under center the last series for KC. And flags come down. It's going to be the first penalty against the Chiefs.
False start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And it's second-year left tackle Brandon Albert called on the penalty. Well, Baltimore had a chance to put 3 more on the board here, and Steve Hauschka looked good coming off his foot.
Well, just the last second, looks like the wind pushed it a little bit to the left. Looks like a good snap and a good hold, just a poor kick.
And now a 1st and 15 for Kansas City. Up the middle, and Johnson able to manipulate his way through the hole. And emerging for a 7-yard gain, Sean Ryan blocking tight end. And that is a little bit strange. I don't know if you feel the same way, Rich. We're watching the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, these uniforms stand out when you see that Kansas City red. No Tony Gonzalez. It's weird to work a game without Tony Gonzalez out there on the field when you're working a Chiefs game.
No number 88, you're replacing a legend, and I think that Sean Ryan, they're going to have to do that with multiple people. 916 catches for over 10,000 yards, a future Hall of Famer.
And a little trickery. They get it to Jamal Charles on the end around. And Charles, with the pursuit from Terrell Suggs on the backside, has nowhere to go. It's a loss of 3 on the play.
And the thing that you like about this Ravens defense, watch Kelly Gregg. Watch the big man. Watch him run. These guys can all run and chase. Him, Haloti Ngata, the big boys can run for the Ravens. And that's what makes it difficult. They get great pressure, you know, in the running game, but they have such speed. The big men can really move laterally and get up the field to make it very difficult for a quarterback.
Shotgun.
Got to be smart here on 3rd down. You're going to get a lot of different looks by this defense.
Fans on their feet. Croyle has time. Throwing and complete. Bobby Engram. But off the curl when he came back, he's short of the 1st down.
Boy, he's going to be really close.
Oh, he just got a very good spot, and it is enough.
That's their first down today, is it not?
It is. It comes with 2:13 and ticking left in this first half.
And Todd Haley's doing everything he can. He realizes he's not surrounded with a lot of talent, so they're going to be tested early, particularly this offensive line, which was cause for concern, a bit of a liability right now.
They were trying to get a play off before the 2-minute warning.
It is the 2-minute warning.
Todd Haley comes from a football family. Of course, his dad, Dick Haley, played in the NFL, was the director of player personnel for those great Steeler teams from 71 to 90, then went to the New York Jets, now is working with the Miami Dolphins. And Haley last year led a Cardinals offense that set a franchise record with 427 points with Haley calling the plays. Obviously, not going to be able to duplicate that with this offense this year. It's going to be a building process.
Yeah, he doesn't have the personnel, but he is busy changing. But he is busy changing the culture and the environment here in Kansas City. As you said, Ian, he's been through it before in New York and Arizona. And as he told us last night, change is not always pleasant. I really believe he's trying to instill some toughness with this football team. And you're right, he doesn't have the personnel yet He and Scott Pioli, the general manager, are working on that. This is a work in progress, but they will find a way to get it done. This is a good group, good group of leadership from the head coach and the general manager.
Well, right now, John Harbaugh is talking about the possibility of reviewing the spot on the first down. You know, initially on my first glance, I thought they did get a very good spot for that first down off of the curl from the veteran Engram.
I thought his forward progress got it. I really did. And
so now Steratore is going to take a look as John Harbaugh chatted with him. So they're going to take a look at the first down play.
Boy, sometimes these are so hard to determine when you look at the tape. Hard to really tell, particularly when you're in piles and you have collisions, where that ball is actually at.
Remember, Kansas City's first down of the day.
Well, this Kansas City offense, I mean, it's not the kind of preseason they were looking for offensively. They were 0-4 in the preseason. They scored just 2 touchdowns the entire preseason, and that's really why Todd Haley decided to take control. We removed Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator. That was not an easy decision for him, but he just felt like in order for them to kind of turn the corner and head in the direction, the vision that he felt was best for this football team, he needed to make the change.
Remember, it was the play to Engram that got them the first down. They couldn't get the play off just before the 2-minute warning, which would have nullified any potential challenge. But because they hit the 2-minute warning, it gave Harbaugh and the Ravens some time to think about it. And I think Harbaugh said, well, why not? Let's check it out. What do we have to lose here?
A guy that did an unbelievable job last year. You talk about a coach that you look at John Harbaugh right there and led his team to an 11-5 regular season record and a playoff, 2 playoff wins with a rookie quarterback. Just a fantastic job, and he too went through a lot of changes a year ago here in Baltimore.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The ball will stay at the 41.5-yard line. First down, Kansas City. Baltimore will be charged with this 3rd and final timeout of the half.
All right, here's what Steratore was looking at. And the forward progress that you talked about would had to have carried him to the 41-yard line. Bobby Engram, the veteran, now in his 14th year.
Well, you know it's not an exact science either. I mean, they're trying. Those officials are very good. They're in the right spot, but you could easily miss a spot by 6 inches.
So Kansas City has 2 timeouts to work with. We have 2 minutes to play in this first half with Baltimore in front 10-7. Handoff to Jamal Charles. And Charles able to stay on his feet. 2nd year out of Texas. He was a track star in the Big 12 for the Longhorns. And a 10-yard pickup. Once again, the handoff out of the gun to Jamal Charles. And Charles picks up a yard. Just about everybody involved for Baltimore on that front line, including Ayan Baidejo and Trevor Price.
And this is a good thing to see if you're the Chiefs. You can't get discouraged early against this defense. You have to continually try and run the football to have any success.
Boy, a field goal here, or at least an attempt, would be huge for Kansas City for their confidence. On a dump off, Charles trying to make something happen and gets back to the line of scrimmage. Ayan Baidejo and Jared Johnson collaborating there. We'll give him a gain of 1. Under a minute to go now in this first half. 3rd and 8.
Be a good opportunity here to take a shot.
Fans come to their feet here, Rich, in Baltimore.
You just can't make any mistakes. You can't hold the ball. The ball's got to come out.
Spread formation, 4 receivers. They go conservative.
Very conservative.
And nothing there. They still had 2 timeouts to work with.
And again, you see communication. Looked like Todd Haley was anticipating or expecting something else from Brodie Croyle. And he told us, he said, look, we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. We've made the change. A lot of the verbiage and terminology has changed. And so it's going to be a day-to-day approach with these young quarterbacks, particularly Brodie Croyle and Tyler Thigpen.
And remember, Haley is coming off of the relationship with Kurt Warner.
Timeout, Kansas City. A 30-second timeout.
So 1 second remaining on the clock. Kansas City now is not forced to punt. They can try a Hail Mary for the final play of this second quarter.
Brody Crowell's got to move around and try and buy some time.
Nope, they'll go underneath. Charles upfield. And other than padding the stats, that's the only thing that was achieved.
Who would have thought this defense would come out and play as well as they have the first half for the Chiefs? They just have to find a way to generate some production offensively here in the second half.
Last time the Kansas City Chiefs won a season opener was 2005 when they beat the New York Jets 27-7. Ryan Succop to kick it off, and Chris Carr waiting. Out of the end zone, Succop getting excellent length, and a touchback for Baltimore to open up. They'll have it at the 20. Take a look at the first half numbers, Rich, and all will favor the Baltimore Ravens. Time of possession is basically double. Yards, forget about it, but the scoreboard is all that matters.
And this is the one that really surprises me right here. You see the rushing yards for Baltimore. I think they have to change that in the second half. They have to come out here and try and run the ball with some success. Just 44 yards rushing, 11 of them coming from Joe Flacco, the quarterback.
So let's see if Baltimore's philosophy changes at all as we start playing this third quarter. Flacco with big numbers in the first half. Play action. Flacco has the protection, and now we'll tuck and run. Flacco caught from behind. Glenn Dorsey. He's a guy we got to talk about, Rich, because so much was expected of Dorsey last year. The first-round pick out of LSU, dominant player in college. He's looking for a big step forward in year two.
He needs to have it. I mean, he got off to a slow start last year. He failed the conditioning test at training camp. He was held out of drills for 4 days, but I think he's lost weight. I think he's playing with more speed and quickness. He's starting to buy into Todd Haley's approach.
And he's got his buddy Tyson Jackson from LSU on the line as well. Ray Rice breaking tackles and breaking out across the 40-yard line. Todd Heap with a key block and a 17-yard burst for Rice.
And I really believe this has to be the approach in the second half. You have to run the football. You had the ball for almost 20 minutes in the first half. I really think that this Kansas City defense will begin to wear down. They've been on the field way too long in the first half.
Well, Kansas City last year had 8 games decided by 7 points or less in a 2-14 season. So first down for Baltimore across the 40. Here comes the rush. They handle it. Flacco throws. Almost picked off by Jared Page.
Boy, when you get those opportunities, you have to find a way to convert. A little bit of confusion there from Joe Flacco. Jared Page does a nice job anticipating and driving on that throw. You got to find a way to make the catch.
So they got a big play from special teams. Looking for a big play now, defensive coordinator Clancy Pendergast for the Kansas City Chiefs. Almost had it there from Page. Demetrius Williams in as a third receiver now for Baltimore on a 2nd and 10. And the line of scrimmage is the 42. Clayton, the motion man. Again out of the gun. This time they'll run from it to Rice. And curling through the middle for a 4-yard pickup. Derek Johnson among those there to make the play for Kansas City. First half possessions looked like Baltimore was going to have a big day offensively, but things simmered down and cooled off in a hurry.
Yeah, they just kind of struggled finding their way a little bit and didn't do a good job on enough third down shots, conversions to keep some of those drives alive.
Cam Cameron, offensive coordinator, a lot of pass plays in that first half, maybe looking for more balance in the second half. Flacco throwing, and he's got Washington into Kansas City territory to the 45, and a new set of downs to work with. Ricardo Coakley over there defensively, a 9-yard pickup.
And the question for Todd Haley has to be whether or not they can hold up. Not a lot of depth along that defensive line and at that linebacking position, so they're going to have to continue to roll players in to keep guys like Mike Rabel and Corey Mays fresh in the second half.
Baltimore was 11th in scoring last season. That was a huge improvement from 2007 with Cam Cameron dialing up the plays. Flacco throwing, and a strong toss to Derek Mason to the 35-yard line for Baltimore.
And the one thing that you see when you watch Joe Flacco throw, I mean, he has a lot of velocity on his throws, and these receivers, you have to get your head around. That ball comes in on you in a hurry. You see right there, Derek Mason didn't have a whole lot of time to adjust. But Joe Flacco is becoming a more accurate thrower here as the game progresses.
Flacco's brother Mike was drafted by the Baltimore Orioles 31st round as a first baseman, third baseman, 6'5", 215 pounds. And it's LaRon McClain getting a carry inside. Glenn Dorsey there to cut him down. I did a little more research for you, Rich, by the way, on Flacco, Mike Flacco. He played with Bluefield in West Virginia, hit .272 with 3 homers and 34 RBIs. We take a look at Camden Yards. Orioles are 32 games out of first place in the AL East. That's not a low blow by any stretch. That's just a fact, Rich.
You know, Joe Flacco is a pretty good high school player as well. He took his team to the state title in New Jersey.
He feels like he could have played professional baseball. Right now, he thinks he could.
I think he could too.
Flacco! And it was hit as he throws. Penalty marker on the play. Corey Mays involved defensively. And we'll have a hold.
Well, I like what I see from this Kansas City defense. Keep in mind, they've made this change.
Offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
That's Chris Chester.
You know, it made this change from the 4-3 defense to the 3-4, and you thought it would take a while, but they look really sharp. And the guy that's had a great training camp is Corey Mays. The addition of Mike Vrabel has been significant, but this group has lined up, and they have played very well here today.
Corey Mays was a role player with New England and Cincinnati, getting an opportunity to start now for Kansas City. An undrafted free agent back in 2006, signed as a free agent with Kansas City this year. 10-7, Baltimore leading the Chiefs. 1st and 20. Flacco trying to stay on his feet.
Well, you're better off throwing that one away.
And Flacco out of bounds. Tank Tyler among those Chiefs trying to track him down. A lot of slippage here today. Not necessarily from Flacco on that play, but throughout this game so far, we've seen a lot of guys lose their footing over the course of the day here at M&T Bank Stadium.
Well, you look right there in the logo, there's a lot of paint on that field, and we saw it earlier in the first half with Ray Rice.
Clock is moving. We're just underway in the third quarter. 9th play of the drive, and Baltimore facing a 2nd and 18 now. Flacco on a give. Rice. And Rice able to dart through that opening. Kelly Washington creating some extra space with a block, a 9-yard pickup for Rice.
This is a guy they're very excited about. When we talked to him yesterday, he said he's been eating better. He's staying away from some of those fast food restaurants. He's had a great offseason in the weight room. He's gotten stronger. He feels he's gotten quicker. And that's the reason why he is the starting tailback for the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, you asked him, why are you better now? He said, because I can run in between the tackles, something I wasn't as confident with last year.
Yeah, he's a smaller back. It's a big offensive line for defenses. It's very hard to track and locate Ray Rice.
3rd and 9 now.
You see him down here at the bottom of your screen. They do a good job moving these players around.
Ravens looking to convert, and picked off. Intercepted by Derek Johnson for Kansas City. And Johnson still on his feet. Johnson down the sideline. And Johnson forced out of bounds by Flacco. Chiefs come up with a huge play on defense.
Wow, that's big. And you know, Derek Johnson, a guy that was demoted, was a first-round pick a couple years ago, not even starting. You see him in the sub package. I don't think Joe Flacco ever sees him. He's working across the formation. It's a blitz zone, and he never tracks the linebacker, Derek Johnson. And watch who makes the tackle here. Joe Flacco does a nice job trying to save the touchdown.
A 70-yard return for Johnson. Speedy, athletic, 5th-year linebacker from Texas in the final year of his contract, and he has set Kansas City up with a 1st and goal inside the Baltimore 6.
Now, Ian, can they take advantage of this field position and this turnover? Something this offense hasn't been able to do so far today. Great scoring opportunity. You have to be able to convert on the road in these type of situations.
Brody Croyle is out there. Todd Haley calling the plays for Kansas City. 9:42 to go in the third quarter. Double tight end set. Ryan with Cottom. Handoff. Larry Johnson. And runs into a pile. Give him a gain of 1 on the play.
You know, it was interesting. We talked with Larry Johnson last night. He looks trimmed down. He looks like he's lean and ready to go. And they talked a little bit about the offense last year. He said all this different, no huddle and the pistol, all these different things. He says, I don't care about that. I just want to get the ball and run downhill. That's where he's at his best, between the tackles.
He weighs 225 pounds now, the same number as his senior year at Penn State. Second and goal for Kansas City. Looking to take the lead. Croyle to throw. And Mike Cox got hit. Ed Reed there for a shot and a flag down on the play. Penalties so far, 6 against Baltimore. Just 1 charge to Kansas City. Gene Steratore.
Penalty is illegal hands to the face, defense number 56. It's a half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Well, that's Tavares Gooden, second-year linebacker from Miami, on injured reserve last year with a hip injury, taking over for Bart Scott, who is now one of the leaders for the New York Jets under Rex Ryan.
Boy, a costly mistake in the scoring zone. Now you give the Chiefs 4 more downs. Todd Haley trying to find something on that play sheet, something that will give maybe Larry Johnson or one of these backs a chance to get it over the goal line.
Now right now it's Jackie Battle in the backfield on a first and goal from the 2. 3 receiver set. Out of the gun, Croyle. Pump. Croyle looking, throws, touchdown! Dwayne Bowe. Kansas City has taken the lead here in the third quarter.
And they get him with a double move in the back of the end zone. Good protection. They got the one-on-one matchup they wanted, and Dwayne Bowe is the kind of guy that you look for in the red zone. He's a taller receiver, does a good job catching the ball away from his body. Good throw by Brody Croyle in the back of the end zone.
Derek Johnson with a 70-yard interception return to help set up the Chiefs offense. Kansas City, as Suckup adds the extra point, has taken a 14-10 lead. Tavares Gooden, linebacker, just got helped off the field after getting injured on a special teams play. Baltimore takes over with a 1st and 10. And it's LaRon McClain, a battering ram. 7-yard pickup for the Pro Bowl fullback. Kansas City 14, Baltimore 10. We come up on 8 minutes to go in this third quarter. Ray Rice turns it upfield, and he's got a first down out near midfield. A 4-yard pickup. DeMario Williams makes the stop for Kansas City.
And this is what they have to do, get back to running the football. Running back committee approach last year worked very well. They were first in the AFC with over 2,400 yards rushing. This wears down a defense. You always have a fresh back in the game. I think it makes it very difficult for the defense to ever catch their breath.
We did see McGahee come off the field in that first half, and don't believe we have seen him since. He's dealt with a number of injuries over the years. Flacco pumping. Flacco throws too high. Looking for Derek Mason out over the middle.
Well, they run that seam route a bunch today. You'll see Joe Flacco. He's going to actually pump to his left, try and move that safety. They've really tried to work the middle of the field today, and they've had some success, more so with Todd Heap than Derek Mason. Again, you see the Ravens trying to change up things on first down, mix in the run and pass. I really think they need to get back to doing what they did so well a year ago, and that's running the football.
2nd and 10 now for the Ravens. Clayton, the motion man, back to the ground game, and Ray Rice. And nowhere to go. 2-yard pickup to midfield. Mike Vrabel involved in that stop. And everybody asking, is he a legitimate #1 receiver? Is he a guy that you can build your passing game around? Flacco throwing to Todd Heap. And Heap's got a first down. 10-yard pickup to the 40-yard line of Kansas City. Derek Johnson with the stick defensively.
Well, they haven't had an answer for Todd Heap today, and they like that matchup versus the linebacker right there. You see Derek Johnson come in and make the play, but Todd Heap is doing a good job working and stretching the middle of the field.
And now McGahee is in the backfield for Baltimore. Kansas City 14, Ravens 10, 6:28 to go in the third quarter. Flacco now over 200 yards throwing. Give is to McGahee. And McGahee trying to bust out to the clear. Taking it to the second level out across the 25-yard line. 16-yard burst for Willis McGahee and another Baltimore first down. Now, JB, something that we know will always be a constant is Peyton Manning throwing touchdowns no matter who the receiver is. McGahee keeps the legs churning. And Michael Orr with a good block on that right side to create a little extra room. 8.5, 9 yards, depending on the spot, for McGahee, who's beginning to get into a groove.
And you get the sense when one of these three backs gets hot, they keep feeding him the ball, and it's a certain package for each running back. You look at the play sheet there of Cam Cameron.
On a 2nd and 1, inside handoff, McClain trying to bust his way up the gut. And McClain has got enough for a first down.
I really think this has to be the approach in the second half. You have a big, strong offensive line. I think this Kansas City defense, the concern has to be, can they hold up and wear down? They've been on the field most of the day. You have to continue to pound the ball downhill.
So this drive continues. 42 rushing yards on this drive. 9th play. Flacco, handoff, McGahee. And falling forward inside the 10, Tamba Ali. Among those there, it's a 2-yard gain for the former Buffalo Bill, Willis McGahee.
Boy, they've been running that ball on that right side behind Chris Chester and the first-round pick, Michael Orr. And, you know, you talk to a lot of the coaches on this coaching staff about the first-round pick out of Mississippi. They think he's going to be better than they originally thought when they picked him in the first round. He's had a phenomenal training camp. He looks like a seasoned vet already.
And they moved up 3 spots to get him in the draft, a 4-year starter at Mississippi. 2nd and 8. Flacco throwing and broke it up. Oh, risky pass on the post. Maurice Leggett getting a piece of it. And Mark Clayton the intended target.
Well, I just think they're being overly aggressive. I don't think there's a need for it. They've had success here in this drive running the ball. Now you take a shot. The Chiefs don't bite. They do a good job on that back end. You see Leggett there. And, of course, Jared Page coming across to make the hit. They don't fool anybody here, and yet he still tries to fit this one in.
Huge play on a 3rd and 8. And Troy Smith is on the field, set up in the slot.
Empty backfield set. 5 receivers.
Flacco to throw. Flacco over the middle. He's got it! Diving in for the touchdown! Ravens back in front.
And this is good to see if you're a Ravens fan. Todd Heap getting involved in a little bit of the red zone action. This is what was really missing last year. Production in the red zone from the tight end position you see right there. He has had a field day against Corey Mays. Corey Mays has not been able to hold up in coverage on Todd Heap.
Extra point, Hauschka. Last year, Todd Heap, 35 catches, 403 yards, 3 touchdowns. A far cry from the numbers that the Ravens had grown accustomed to. Willis McGahee got 27 rushing yards on that drive, helped set it up for the Ravens. And it's Flacco to Heap. Flacco's 2nd touchdown of the day. He's got 212 yards through the air. And Baltimore is in front, 17-14. Hauschka kicks it off. Jamal Charles from a yard deep in the end zone. And he's buried. Third quarter here in Baltimore. Ravens 17, Chiefs 14, 3:50 to play. Kansas City takes over, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Larry Johnson stacked up as he picks up 2 yards. 5 or 6 defensive players over there for Baltimore, led by Suggs and Gregg, to limit Johnson on the ground.
You know, Todd Haley has done a masterful job calling this game plan. Listen, Brody Croyle just 7 of 9 for 45 yards. The best thing so far is they've taken care of the football. They haven't put it on the ground. They haven't made any mistakes, and they're giving themselves a chance to be in this game.
The one concern, Gooden went down with an injury. It looked like on special teams, Ion Bidejo went down with an injury. So Jameel McClain has come on at linebacker for Baltimore. Larry Johnson trying to run it inside. He picks up another 2 yards and sets up 3rd down and 6 for Kansas City. Kelly Gregg in on that stop for the Ravens.
Well, they do a good job, Baltimore does, with their substitutions. And you get a lot of different looks if you're the Kansas City Chiefs on third down. And that's really where you have to be careful. You have to do a good job recognizing the front, the coverage, as well as the pressure.
Shotgun formation for Croyle. 3rd and 6, a 3-receiver set. Rush is coming. Croyle steps and throws right at the marker. Mark Bradley loses the ball.
He's going to be short this time, though.
Dominique Foxworth able to jar it loose, and he is not going to have enough.
And we've seen this a number of times today on third down where these receivers are just short of the depth of the first down marker.
That is the second time today that Mark Bradley has not been able to get to the first down marker.
And that's why it's so important to get your depth on these routes. The timing, the rhythm of the passing game is so important. But you see right there Todd Haley making the correction. You can't be short on third down.
So a wasted chance there for Kansas City to get something going on this drive. Instead, Dustin Colquitt, the son of former NFL kicker Craig Colquitt with Pittsburgh and Indianapolis.
Offense, number 2, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
And another mistake. Delay of game with 1:39 to go in this third quarter. Colquitt will have to back it up 5 yards. Chris Carr, the return man for Baltimore, standing at his own 27-yard line.
Now it's time for Baltimore to make a play in the kicking game. They need to be able to answer.
Now Carr is certainly capable. Colquitt off the side of his foot. He's fortunate it even took the role that it did for Kansas City. With Baltimore in front, they've regained the lead. They get the football back with excellent field position. 1:20 to go in the third. Flacco pumping. And he'll dump it off to LaRon McClain. And McClain putting his head down. Vrabel missed the tackle. And depending on the spot, it could be a first down for Baltimore. It is a first down for Baltimore. A 10-yard gain for McClain on the dump off. Ground game, Ray Rice. And couldn't break free of Mike Vrabel. Vrabel, who has excellent instincts, has been in this league now for 13 years, previously with Pittsburgh and New England. We asked him about the transition. He said, really, football-wise, it has not been the biggest deal. It's everything else around it. Family, making sure everybody's okay going from New England to Kansas City.
Yeah, getting the kids situated in school. He told us his young son had a football game the other night. He was missing that, but this was a great addition for the Chiefs. Here's a guy that a great deal of experience. He's going to help a lot of young players around him. 2nd and 10 now for the Ravens, just short of the 40-yard line. Flacco has the time and a high throw over the head of Clayton. 5'10" Mark Clayton. Better than 70,000 on hand here at M&T Bank Stadium. We welcome you back. Start of the fourth quarter, NFL on CBS. Ian Eagle along with Rich Gannon and the rest of our CBS crew. Baltimore Ravens 17, Kansas City Chiefs 14. This Chiefs team won 2 games in 2008. Turned their roster over. New GM, new head coach. Was supposed to have a new quarterback. The throw from Joe Flacco is off the mark and incomplete. So it's 4th down for Baltimore. The way this day started, Rich, informed that Matt Castle was not going to be able to play today because of the left knee injury. Baltimore looked very sharp early, and really since that good start from Flacco, Rich, he has been uneven. Yeah, you can see the frustration begin to set in, and the problem is you have a team like Kansas City who a lot of people didn't give a lot of chance to. You let them hang on for 3 quarters, now you got yourself into a fight. They're not going to pack up their tent and go home. This is going to be a good game right down to the end.
Sam Cook will punt it. The veteran Bobby Engram is deep. And Cook just trying to place it inside the 10. Fair catch. Comparison, Croyle and Flacco. Flacco with big numbers, 2 touchdowns. Running game, Rice with 69 yards. Johnson has yet to get it going. Bo has the receiving touchdown for Kansas City. They also have a touchdown on special teams. 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line. Chiefs trailing the Ravens by 3. Handoff to Johnson. Trying to take it to the outside. Cannot turn the corner. As Fabian Washington was helping out in run support, it's a 4-yard gain for Johnson.
We talk about the change of defensive coordinator Greg Madison, and they make these changes. You go back and think about when Marvin Lewis was here, and then it was Mike Nolan, then it was Rex Ryan, and as Ray Lewis told us, they said, hey, you can change the coordinator, it makes no difference. It's about the personnel on the field, but that guy right there has done a great job with this group so far this season.
Baltimore with a 3-point lead early stages of this fourth quarter. Croyle on the give. Johnson trying to push the pile, and not much there. About a 2.5 yard gain. Juwan Edwards. Brendan Ayanbadejo is back for Baltimore. Tavares Gooden left with a knee sprain. We're told that he's being retaped and may try to give it a go. 3rd and 4 for KC. Croyle, timing pattern up in the air and caught. Mark Bradley. Bradley stays on his feet and is finally spun down in Baltimore territory by Ed Reed.
Boy, that was good coverage, and I'll tell you what, a perfect throw here, gets it done. You see Brodie Croyle does a good job holding the safety. Now watch a little bit of pushing going on back and forth there between Bradley and Fabian Washington. Good job by Brodie Croyle, giving him a chance on the boundary. They pick up 50 yards right there. Big play, big chunk for the Chiefs.
By far their longest offensive play of the day. And a 1st and 10 from the 34. Johnson is smothered. Ed Reed.
Boy, and Ed Reed's been quiet today, and I think he's frustrated. He hasn't had the opportunity to make a lot of plays in the middle of the field. You see him bring pressure off the edge. And this guy, he can play at every level of your defense. He can rush the passer, he can play in space, and he can really thump you on the back end.
I have not said Ed Reed's name a lot today. I have not said Ray Lewis's name a lot today.
Well, the defense has been steady. That was the biggest gain by the Chiefs so far today, and I get the sense the defense is a little bit frustrated.
2nd and 11. Fake the handoff. Croyle pumping. Croyle in some trouble. Throwing on the move and incomplete. He threw it in the direction of Sean Ryan. Terrell Suggs supplying the pressure, the 3-time Pro Bowler. And we mentioned the injury to Tavares Gooden. He's on the bike, stationary bike along the sideline. So a good sign there for Baltimore.
You know, I mentioned the Ravens defense a little frustrated, and they've only given up 123 yards today. They had a blocked punt, and then of course the interception by Flacco gave the Chiefs great field position. But other than that, this defense has played very, very well.
Right now, Kansas City would be staring at a 53-yard field goal attempt. All-out blitz, and it's incomplete. Bradley, the intended receiver.
And you're going to see this ball on Mark Bradley. It gets in on him, and it actually hits his shoulder pads. And as a receiver, you want to catch the ball with your hands extended, and that's been a problem for this receiving core in Kansas City. It's something that we talked about last night with Todd Haley. He said these guys got to do a better job concentrating. They're dropping way too many balls.
Well, Ryan Suckup, the rookie out of South Carolina, his collegiate long was 55 yards. This is a 53-yard attempt trying to tie the game. Colquitt to hold it. Suckup leans in, and he's got it. 53-yard field goal for the rookie. We are tied at 17. Ryan Suckup, a 53-yard field goal. All set up by the 50-yard reception by Bradley for Kansas City. Suckup, who also punted at South Carolina, has tied this game at 17. Chris Carr returning from the 7. And Carr slowed down at the 20. He is brought down just short of the 25-yard line by DeJuan Morgan. And Ray Lewis was the Super Bowl MVP. That was Jermaine Lewis down the sideline for Baltimore as the Ravens won the Super Bowl. Now find themselves in a tie game as Willis McGahee trying to accelerate a 3-yard pickup. Glenn Dorsey got him down low. Well, Mark Sanchez, we know rookie quarterbacks, ups and downs in this league. Little floater out to McGahee. And McGahee able to stay on his feet. He's got a first down, tiptoeing along the sideline.
What did Joe Flacco tell us yesterday? He said, I have to do a better job finding my outlet receivers, being able to throw those checkdowns and those wide flare routes to the back and let them get into the transition of the run. There's a lot of hidden yardage there. You have some good backs at your disposal if you'll just be patient enough to check it down.
Well, Flacco really has that very even temperament. Certainly doesn't get too high. It's hard to make him smile, in fact.
You know, the big thing, I thought he elevated his game last year down the stretch when the Ravens really needed him the most.
Play clock winding down. Flacco, play action, throws, and it's Heap. Todd Heap hauls it in. Oh, what a huge performance by Heap as Flacco just dropped it in the bucket, 24 yards.
Boy, and a good job, good play action. You're going to see Todd Heap right here. He's going to start down and he starts working back to the boundary, but the play action fake gets it done, and you see Mike Brown right there. Look at the little nod at the top, and he gives Joe Flacco plenty of room on the boundary. Again, the mismatch with Todd Heap on these safeties and linebackers has been a problem all day for the Chiefs.
That's 6'5" working against 5'10", and Baltimore now in business inside the 40-yard line. Give is to McGahee. And good effort by McGahee, falling forward on a 2nd and 6 now for the Ravens. Fake the handoff, rush is coming, floats it upstairs, and incomplete. Le'Ron McClain.
Again, throwing the ball on the early downs, and I think that what's happening is Cam Cameron is looking at this defense, and he's seeing a lot of these heavy 7- and 8-man fronts on first down, thinking he's got some one-on-one coverage opportunities on the outside lanes, and he's trying to take advantage of it. The other thing is Maurice Leggett. We talked about him a lot in the first quarter. He has played much better here in the second half, the corner up on the top of your screen.
So now a 3rd and 6. Flacco has thrown the ball now 40 times and complete to Mason inside the 30-yard line, and it will be enough for a first down.
Now you're going to see pressure, but they bring both safeties, and look at how far off Leggett is. He knows that he has to defend that middle of the field, but it's a good throw and good catch by Derek Mason.
And Joe Flacco, that is, as mentioned, his 40th attempt, the most he has ever attempted in a game.
And I have a problem with that. I think you're getting away from who you are. And I think this is a football team that's built on running the football. I know they're trying to change gears a little bit, be less predictable, but I still think with the running back group that you have to continue to run the ball.
They measured clearly enough for a first down. So 9:10 to go here in the 4th quarter. Ball spotted inside the 30-yard line.
Well, they have done a great job today, the Kansas City Chiefs, of hanging in there. You know, Ian, you and I talked before the game. I thought with Matt Castle out of the lineup, I didn't give the Chiefs much of a chance, but they have so far proven me wrong with a great deal of effort and tempo on both sides of the ball.
On a handoff for Ray Rice. And Rice, the ability to maintain his balance inside with bodies around him. Chester and Orr there creating a little extra space.
See Ray Rice, he's just a guy that he's not very big, but boy, he's got a big heart, and he runs with power. He's a tough guy. He's not going to back down to anybody, and I just think that you have to give him more touches here late in this 4th quarter.
2nd and 4 now. And it's Rice turning the corner. Rice didn't get there. Just short of the goal line. It'll be 1st and goal inside the 1 for Baltimore.
And Ian, he's one of these backs that he gets better as the game progresses. He gets better with each and every carry, and he really has the speed to kick it into extra gear when he gets up onto the 2nd level. Good job by Mike Brown there saving the touchdown.
1st and goal for Baltimore. Le'Ron McClain, he's in. Touchdown Ravens. Baltimore back in front.
And this is what you expect to see from the Ravens, and particularly down in this part of the field. Le'Ron McClain, the Pro Bowl fullback from a year ago, he had 10 touchdowns last year, most of them coming in this part of the field.
8:10 remaining in this 4th quarter.
Well, can the Chiefs muster one more scoring drive? You see Brodie Croyle, he has been solid so far today. He's taken care of the football, and he's kept his team in the game.
Steve Hauschka. Well, Rich, you've talked about it here at great length. The fact that they have 3 running backs with different styles, and now we've seen them all on display during different parts of this game. Rice, McClain, McGahee all bring a little bit something different to the table.
Yeah, they're averaging over 5 yards a carry. You got to keep feeding them the ball.
Hauschka kicks it off. And Charles will take a knee for Kansas City. Ravens lead 24-17 over the Chiefs with 8:10 to go in the fourth quarter. Kansas City with the football at the 20-yard line. Croyle throwing and able to squeeze it in to Bobby Engram. 8-yard pickup on first down. You have been impressed with the fact that Croyle has not made the big mistake.
You know, he's hung in there. He's done a good job managing the crowd noise, getting them lined up. He hasn't, the big thing, Ian, he hasn't made the poor decision. He's taking care of the football. It's coming out quick. He's avoiding the bad decision, and he's not taking unnecessary sacks.
Matt Castle sprained MCL, left knee. Tried it out earlier today wearing a big brace on that left knee. Could not give it a go. Croyle patting the ball and incomplete. A flag comes down. There was some zigzagging on those routes.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer.
Jared
Defense.
Johnson.
Number 95. Blow to the head. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
So Jared Johnson with the late hit on Brodie Croyle. And Kansas City will get to march down the field here after the penalty.
And you just see right here, they're having a hard time on that left side, holding up Brandon Albert. You see that hit to the head, and they're going to call that one every time. It's a good look at Matt Castle, who isn't active today with that left knee injury. And
well, Kansas City has Oakland at home next week. And I'm sure Todd Haley, Scott Pioli felt that giving him another week to recover from that injury that he suffered against Seattle in the preseason was the right move here. So first down for the Chiefs. Croyle standing tall in the pocket and throws it too high. Out of bounds over the head of Mark Bradley. 10 of 15, 108 yards and a touchdown, but no interceptions, no fumbles.
that's the key versus this defense.
Shotgun Croyle. Fires, got his man, Mark Bradley on a cross. And another first down. This is inside Baltimore territory, short of the 40-yard line. It's a 14-yard pass play.
And what did General Manager Scott Pioli tell us last night? I'm looking for players who will step up in difficult situations and take advantage of opportunities. And that's what we're seeing here today from Brodie Croyle. He has taken advantage of an unbelievable opportunity.
21 new players on this 53-man roster from a year ago for Kansas City. A first down for the Chiefs at the Baltimore 43. Ravens showing blitz, delayed rush, and Croyle gets rid of it. Dwayne Bowe! And brought down inside the 20. Bowe has been quiet today, does have the touchdown. That's a 24-yard reception for Bowe.
Wow, good job with the protection. You see the blitz up the middle. Good job sitting in there and finding Dwayne Bowe. Listen, this guy's a talented receiver. He's been inconsistent, and he spent most of training camp in Todd Haley's doghouse. In fact, he was demoted to third team at one point during training camp. His focus is much better today.
Dwayne Bowe, most catches and receiving yards, first 2 years in Chiefs history. Fake the handoff, Croyle to throw. And Croyle is on time. Back to Bowe. To the 10-yard line. We'll see where they spot the football. And just a little bit short of a first down.
And formationally, they've done a good job getting the matchups that they're looking for. You have Dwayne Bowe matched up on a safety, DeJuan Landry. It's a good job schematically by Todd Haley getting your receiver matched up on a safety instead of a corner.
Third catch of the day for Bowe. This is a 2nd and 1 now for Kansas City, knocking on the door.
Boy, they want a timeout. They want a timeout.
They trail by 7. Croyle, rush is coming. Over the middle, extending is Sean Ryan. And he's in. Touchdown, Kansas City. Sean Rhyan, the tight end. The ability to bring it in, hold on to it, and extend himself out across the goal line.
Wow, look at this. Great job under duress, sitting in there, finding your tight end, Sean Rhyan. And wow, great effort trying to, that ball's out early. Well, that ball came out early. That would be a good one to challenge if you're John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens.
You've got to. Ryan clearly lost the football.
Oh, man, I can't believe he's not going to throw that flag. Wow.
Succop on for the extra point. And it's good.
I really think that came out early.
Sean Rhyan has played with Dallas, the Jets, Miami, New Orleans, San Francisco. His career touchdown total before today, 0.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that he actually recovered the ball. Watch, the ball comes out. It's good fortune it falls right into his lap, and does a nice job trying to extend the ball. Look at that. Right, good hit right there at the end by Ed Reed that knocks it out, but a good job by Sean Rhyan having the wherewithal to pull that one back in. It was interesting, though, Ian, on the sidelines before that play, Todd Haley was screaming at the official trying to get a timeout. I bet you he's thrilled that he didn't get one.
Croyle on that drive, Rich, 5 of 6, 65 yards. We are tied at 24. Chris Carr. Out across the 25-yard line, that's where Baltimore will open up. Quentin Lawrence making the play on special teams with 5:14 to go in this fourth quarter.
There's plenty of time here for Joe Flacco in this Ravens offense, and I really think you have to continue to mix it up, but running the ball, they've had so much success today, over 400 yards today of offense. A lot of that coming in the second half on the ground with those backs. I think you have to continue to push the issue. This Kansas City defense has been on the field the majority of the second half.
Last year, Ravens were 6-2 at home. They're 36-12 at M&T Bank Stadium since 2003. Flacco to throw. Protection is there. And checks off to McGahee, who's got running room. Down the sideline. And McGahee. He turns it into a big game, but did he step out of bounds? He did.
And this is where Joe Flacco is so much better than he was a year ago. Watch the patience. His eyes are downfield. Now all of a sudden, look at him kick it wide to Willis McGahee. Get the ball into the hands of your playmakers and let these guys make some plays. And Willis McGahee is really running well today when he gets that ball in the open field.
And a 14-yard gain. He stepped out at the 40-yard line. First down here for Baltimore. And McGahee remains in the game. His 4th catch of the day, 31 yards and a touchdown. Flacco, a little bit of trickery with Clayton on the end around. And Clayton will lean forward. Comes up short of a first down, but picks up 9 yards on first down.
And when you look at this offense, when you break them down on film, it's a multiple rushing attack. They run the power, they run the counter, they run perimeter runs, they run the wildcat once in a while. With Troy Smith, they run the option, they run end arounds. They have it all as an offense, and it really stresses you as a defense, just handling all those different looks.
Clock is moving. We approach 4 minutes to play now in the fourth quarter. Give is to McClain. And McClain has got a first down. Needed a yard, he picked up 2. They'll move the chains with under 4 minutes to play. And now Baltimore is in Kansas City territory just across the 50-yard line. Steve Hauschka, second-year kicker, missed a field goal earlier. Will he get an opportunity to win this game in regulation?
Well, I just wonder, this defense has been on the field a lot. You wonder if they can just hold up and get a stop and force them to get a punt here.
Line of scrimmage is now the 49 of Kansas City. Play clock winding down. Flacco straight back. Now looks to the far side. Looked like that ball was trapped as McGahee makes the catch. Boy, that's a heck of a catch if he brought it in cleanly. A penalty marker on the play. Either way.
These backs have spent a lot of time this offseason working on catching the ball out of the backfield. They've done a much better job of it today.
Gene Steratore.
Hands to the face, defense. Number 93, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And that's Tank Tyler, the third-year nose tackle out of North Carolina State. Third-round pick, was a college teammate of Mario Williams. Illegal hands to the face is the call with 3:08 to go in this fourth quarter.
Well, those guys have played pretty well up front for the Kansas City defense. Tyler, Tyson Jackson, Glenn Dorsey. These guys have been out in the field a lot. They've hung in there and battled some difficult conditions.
They'll place the football now at the 44-yard line. And a first down for Baltimore. McClain and McGahee in the backfield. Flacco, 276 yards through the air. Handoff to Ray Rice. And Rice fighting for extra yardage. Brandon Carr there to greet him. And Rice comes up with a 9-yard pickup.
Boy, he has the ability to bounce runs to the edge with his speed, and rarely does the first guy make the tackle with Ray Rice, and he has got a strong upper body. You see him extend that right forearm. This guy can run with power, and the great thing about him, he's got speed to get to the edge.
And he's over 100 yards on the day, Rich. 106 on 18 carries. Give is to McClain up the gut. So they're grinding out yards inside. They get yards on the perimeter. And Hauschka getting ready to potentially get a crack at a game-winning field goal. 2:45 and counting left in this fourth quarter.
I see Hauschka right there. We've already talked about the fact that he's replacing a legend here in Baltimore and Matt Stover.
First and 10 at the 33-yard line of Kansas City. It's Rice. And runs into a pile as he picks up 2 yards on the play. Tank Tyler, first man there for the Chiefs.
You know, I know as a quarterback, I never wanted to give the field goal kicker an opportunity. I just felt like if you could take it down there and find a way to score on your own without trying to make a kick, I just thought that was the way to go. Certainly, if you can take some time off the clock, drive down and get a chip shot, that's one thing. But to put your young kicker in this situation where he has to try and win one, he did miss a couple in the preseason. He missed a short chip shot that I saw on film.
Well, there is Steve Hauschka mentally getting ready for what could be a big moment in his young career. So one timeout used by Kansas City. They still have 2 remaining. We have 2:20 left on the clock here in the fourth quarter. McGahee in the backfield.
Comes Mike Brown, the safety, right up the middle.
Rush is coming. Flacco looking long. Incomplete. Jump ball opportunity for Derek Mason against Maurice Leggett.
And the Kansas City Chiefs defense, they're not sitting back. They're continuing to bring pressure. And this is just a great job. You see it right up the middle there. They pick it up. They give Joe Flacco some time. But this is a good job by Maurice Leggett hanging in there, making a play on the ball. And as I told you, he has played much better here in the second half. They got after him a little bit in the first half, but he has been much more consistent for the Chiefs in the second half.
Rich, right now, Baltimore is looking at about a 49-yard field goal. Hauschka made one from 44. He missed one from 41.
All-out pressure again. You got one-on-one.
And separation. Touchdown, Mark Clayton. Baltimore takes the lead. One-yard touchdown.
Boy, a good job by Joe Flacco recognizing the situation. You're going to see the safeties come. He knows it's one-on-one on the outside. And the great thing about this, he gives Mark Clayton the chance. He uses the field. Great throw by Joe Flacco.
For the first time in his short NFL career, Joe Flacco has gone over 300 yards through the air. 307. Now the speedy wideout, Mark Clayton, big playability. Joe Flacco last year became the first rookie in NFL history to win 2 playoff games. He's a second-year pro now, and he's given Baltimore a 31-24 lead. Hauschka kicks it off. Jamal Charles will take it out for the Chiefs. Charles right down the middle, and he is smothered as he hit the 21-yard line, and we've hit the 2-minute warning. Best numbers of Joe Flacco's young career: 307 yards through the air and 3 touchdowns, career highs in 3 categories. And right now, Kansas City, here in the season opener, down by a touchdown with 2 minutes left. Brodie Croyle getting the start for the injured Matt Castle. Big trade that Kansas City made with New England. Then they signed Castle to a huge contract, but not ready to go here in the season opener. Croyle trying to lead the Chiefs back. And Croyle goes down. Jared Johnson the sack. And they've got the football. Terrell Suggs on the recovery.
Boy, it took a while, didn't it? But they finally got the turnover they were looking for. Very opportunistic defense. The problem there, communication. You can see right there, Brodie Croyle was expecting the snap. There was some confusion with the back. He should have thrown it away. Instead, he takes the sack. The ball comes out. Terrell Suggs right there for the pickup. You can see there was some confusion right from the get-go. Would have been a good chance, good opportunity there to throw the ball away.
The ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by Baltimore. The play will now be reviewed.
All right, Rich, let's take a look at it. Brodie Croyle, you said the timing was off right from the snap.
Yeah, you know, he's looking to his left right there. He's trying to scramble out, and you can see whether or not that knee comes down. The ball hits the ground. The ground causes the fumble, but whether or not his knee was down, that's going to be the issue for the officials. You see he tries to spin out from Jarrett Johnson. That ball is coming out before the knee hits the ground.
You know, there's this misconception that the ground can't cause a fumble, which is not true in the NFL. It's really circumstantial. And in that particular case, the ground may have caused the fumble, but because Croyle's body was lifted and Suggs had wedged himself underneath, his knee never officially hit the ground. Look right here.
Yeah, but his shoulder and his arm. And whether or not that right there, that'll probably be overturned, I would believe. If your shoulder, your arm is down, that would be suffice, regardless of whether that knee hits the ground or not.
He has it there.
Now, where is the ball actually coming out? Continue to roll it.
Right there. Simultaneous with the elbow hit. You know, natural speed, it just looks like the ball pops loose as he's going down. In slow motion, you see where the elbow hits.
It's clear that the officials are talking about the ruling, the interpretation of the ruling.
I think you're right. Kansas City has come back onto the field here. The offense has.
Yep, and if your shoulder or your elbow is down, then of course that would be overturned.
You're still looking at a 2nd and 18, but obviously you keep the football and keep a fighting chance here.
After review, the quarterback's right forearm landed on the ground prior to him losing possession of the football. He will be ruled down by contact at the 13-yard line. It will be Kansas City's ball, 2nd down and 18 on the left hash mark. The ball will be at the 13-yard line. The clock will start on the ready for play.
No, your instincts were right, Rich.
Oh, they got a break there.
Kansas City got a huge break.
And that's the right ruling. You see the interpretation. But that did in real speed. It looked like that ball was coming out early before that elbow ever hit the ground.
Agreed. 2nd and 18 now for Kansas City. So they get second life here with 1:54 remaining on the clock.
Well, throwing the ball away here is not the end of the world. The sack, though, really hurt him. You got to make up some yards here on 2nd and 3rd down. Give yourself a chance. This is definitely 4-down territory, as we know.
Shotgun formation for Croyle. Rush is coming. Croyle gets rid of it, and it's off the mark. Looking for Dwayne Bowe. 1:45 left on the clock as he took another shot from Jarrett Johnson.
Boy, Jarrett Johnson, I'll tell you, this guy has been all over the field today. It gives him tremendous flexibility, his ability to jump in and out of that 3- and 4-man front, his ability to rush the passer and create plays like this. He's very difficult to block one-on-one. Now they're going to have Suggs and Johnson on the same side.
On a 3rd and 18 for the Chiefs. From the gun, Croyle steps up and throws it short underneath. Incomplete. Sean Ryan could not bring it in.
Boy, you got one last shot here. And what's hard now for a guy like Todd Hill, you look down at your call sheet, you don't have a lot of plays scripted for 4th and 20. 4th and 18. Not a lot on the script. You got to get creative. And if you're Brodie Croyle, you have to give one of these receivers a chance. The ball has to come out. You have to throw it up and give one of these receivers a chance to go down the field and make a play.
Well, here's your ball game. 1:39 to go. Baltimore 31, Kansas City 24. 4th and 18 for the Chiefs. Croyle steps and loses the football as he throws. And this one is over. Trevor Price knocking it free.
You know, the amazing thing, Ian, they've done such a good job all day taking care of the football. And on this last sequence, this last series, the ball was out on the ground too many times. You see right here, Terrell Suggs, just too much for the right tackle in Ndukwe. He forces Brodie Croyle to step up. Penetration up inside gets Brodie Croyle. And that's unfortunate. The Chiefs played very, very well today on the road. Brodie Croyle kept his team in it till the very end, gave them a chance to win. They just couldn't convert and couldn't come from behind. But pretty good effort by the Chiefs.
1:34 left as Baltimore takes over.
73.
McGahee in the backfield with McClain. And handoff to McGahee. Trying to carry some Chiefs on his back as he picks up a yard. And Kansas City has 1 timeout remaining with 1:28 left.
Well, I think we found out a little something about Joe Flacco today. This is a guy that can carry a football team on his shoulders. 26 of 43, 307 yards, 3 touchdowns. Cam Cameron, they broke some tendencies today. We really felt like they were going to run the ball and be physical. They wound up throwing it a ton, and it wound up working out for the Baltimore Ravens.
Kansas City with 1 timeout left, 1:28 on the clock. They will stick with McClain and McGahee in the backfield. Handoff, McGahee. And grinding it out inside the 5. Final timeout for Kansas City. 1:22 left on the clock. All right, let's go back, Rich. The touchdown, the go-ahead score for Baltimore. Break it down.
Well, if you want to dance, you have to pay the band. They bring the pressure. You look at the outside lanes, you got one-on-one coverage. Joe Flacco does a nice job knowing that he has the middle of the field wide open. He sits in there, they block it up, and he throws a beautiful post route to Mark Clayton. That's how you win a game, and that's how you discourage a defense from giving you all-out pressure. Just a great job, good recognition by Joe Flacco. Oh, that was impressive. That was impressive to see.
Well, here's this jumbo formation where they bring in big bodies like Haloti Ngata, best defensive lineman in the NFL right now, not to make a Pro Bowl. Handoff up the middle, McGahee. No, not quite. Short of the goal line. So it brings up 4th and goal, and the clock is moving. Kansas City cannot stop the clock. 1:05 and counting.
A little bit of confusion in the running game, and look at that push up front.
Boy, I think he got it.
Boy, certainly his upper part of his body was over, whether or not the ball was. But I'll tell you, this offense has gotten better because they've had a practice against their own defense. I really, truly believe that when you go and watch, they've become a physical unit because they've had to learn how to practice against their defense each and every day.
So this is an official review with 40 seconds left. If you're just looking at momentum, McGahee was in. Now where the ball was, as you just mentioned, Rich, is a mystery.
Yeah, and sometimes it's very difficult to see in these piles, but just watch the push, watch the movement up front. Look at Willis McGahee push the pile back, but it's very difficult to see where the ball actually is when he makes that final contact down there at the goal line.
Corey Mays was the last line of defense, and you saw Mays get pushed backwards into the end zone, which means McGahee was with him in the end zone as they made contact. So they'll take a look at it here with 40 seconds to go. Really, it's a question of whether or not McGahee gets a touchdown. And
with 500 yards of offense today for the Baltimore Ravens. 500 yards of offense.
Is this a defensive team? I'm sorry, Rich. I read the notes. I was told this was a defensive team.
I'll tell you what, the offense has really stepped up today. Of course, the defense played well, but the offense showed me something. The ability to change gears. Joe Flacco going over 300 yards, rushing the ball for some 200 yards. Just good balance offensively, and I think that they've showed they have the ability to throw the ball with some consistency as well. We know they can run it.
Give you some numbers here. Rice, 106 yards on the ground. Make it 77 yards receiving for Clayton and a touchdown. 5 catches, 74 yards for Heap and a touchdown. And McGahee with a receiving touchdown. McLean had a rushing touchdown.
Did a good job spreading it around. A lot of different backs and receivers touching the ball, and good distribution in the passing game by Joe Flacco. Good job by Cam Cameron, giving all these backs a chance to get some touches. Boy, they have some firepower offensively. I still believe they need to go out and add another weapon or two in the passing game. That was a priority in the offseason. It didn't get done. I still think that they're thin at wide receiver.
Now let's take one more look. McGahee, there's the acceleration. And you see his shoulder, left shoulder, is clearly across the goal line.
I don't think they'll change this. I really don't. You have to see, and you have to be able to tell that that ball was across the goal line. You just can't guess and anticipate and suggest that maybe it was over.
Review, the ruling on the field stands.
Yep.
It will be 4th down and goal, Baltimore. With the play clock operator, please reset the play clock to 10 seconds. The game clock will also start on the ready for play. Reset the play clock to 10. We will wind on the ready for play.
Well, you saw a couple helmets snap back there with that collision down at the goal line.
How about this decision right now, not to send out Hauschka to kick the field goal and to leave your offense out there on 4th.
Recording as eligible players on the play. 73, 92.
4th and goal inside the 1. Obviously, Kansas City has no timeouts remaining.
This is a decision that you see John Harbaugh, he's all the way down here on the sidelines talking to the official. I think he'll call a timeout. Timeout. And that's the right decision. This is one you need to talk about. I think the play is to kick the field goal here.
30-second timeout.
A field goal here, and it's the shortest field goal that you could possibly come up with. The ball inside the 1 will give Baltimore a 2-score advantage.
The problem is if you don't score, now all of a sudden you give the Chiefs a chance to get back on the field. And I know the odds are certainly stacked against them, but I think the call here is to go out and kick the field goal.
How about some of these numbers, including Drew Brees, 6 touchdown passes in week 1. Peterson with a monster day, 180 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns for Adrian Peterson. Reggie Wayne, huge numbers. Patrick Creighton, everybody curious how Dallas would handle the loss of T.O. So they've decided to keep the offense on the field. 36 seconds left.
They have confidence in these backs. Why not? The offensive line has been spectacular today.
And touchdown, Willis McGahee.
Boy, he looks like he's going to have a big year. I know he's had a great training camp. He's in the best shape that he's been in a while. And the big thing is he is healthy. He was not healthy a year ago. Well, they do a good job with their heavy personnel. You can see LaRon McLean in there. They have the extra lineman. They put Todd Heap. They always put Todd Heap on the backside in these situations. They don't want him at the point in the running game.
Extra point from Hauschka. 31 seconds left. Baltimore will win in its season opener yet again. Last year, knocked off Cincinnati. The Baltimore Ravens, strong last year here at M&T Bank Stadium, 6-2 at home. You can tack on another win for this Baltimore squad that surprised everybody last year, losing the AFC Championship game to eventual champion Pittsburgh. Handled up front by Andy Studebaker in his second year from Wheaton, Division III school. And only 27 seconds left as Brodie Croyle will take the field. What do you take out of this game if you're Kansas City, Rich?
I really think you have to feel good about the effort was there. I thought these guys competed. I thought they were in the game till the end. I thought the defense really hung in there and battled. They get a big play in the kicking game, a blocked punt. You know, I just think it speaks volumes of where they are, and you get the chance to see Matt Cassel. I really think you'll get a chance to see him next week, and I think it was the right decision to hold him out. He wasn't healthy. His mobility would have been an issue. I just think it was a smart decision by the Chiefs.
Since October of 2007, the Chiefs are now 4-30. Croyle. And makes the connection with Jamal Charles over the middle. They have no timeouts remaining.
Well, you know, 6 wins by the Kansas City Chiefs in 2 years. That doesn't happen by accident. This was a bad football team. And, you know, you talked about all the turnover on this roster.
And Dwayne Bowe on the outside. Little bit of jawing going on with 6 seconds left.
We talked to Scott Pioli last night. He said of the 53-man roster at the end of last season, plus the guys on injury reserve, 30 of them had been released. Only 2 of them somehow found a way to catch on with other teams, and one of them was Tony Gonzalez. So you can see the turnover, and you can see the issues that they had with that roster a year ago.
Final 6 seconds here in Baltimore. Final play for the Chiefs. Croyle throws. And Sean Ryan along the sideline. That's it. The Ravens win their season opener. 38-24, the final.